Did you know you could do this? This tip is given to us by an in-game note, which says, your opportunities for a plunging attack will be rare indeed. And while that is true, the hitbox on this is really janky, you can definitely pull off some spectacular kills. Give it a try. And I wonder, are there any other enemies that are open to plunging attacks? What other secrets haven't we found yet? This game is absolutely brimming with hidden content, and I feel like this secrets video is going to be the first of many on Elden Ring, so subscribe for that. But in this video, we're going to be talking about all the noteworthy secrets that From Software themselves have written down for us. Most of these you can buy from the merchants found throughout the game, and while some of these notes aren't worth the paper that they're printed on, today we're going to talk about the ones that are, and also how the most hidden of these notes lead you to the dark secrets of the merchants themselves. Now, for this next secret, I want to try and help you defeat an enemy that I know a lot of you have been having trouble with, the land squirts. They need to be nerfed, honestly it's bullshit, but until then, you can defeat them with poison easily. It's counterintuitive, but poisoning these things overloads them with toxin and they can't expel it fast enough, so they tragically explode in their own poison cloud. This in turn poisons the land squirts around them, who explode and poison the ones around them, and so on and so on. It's kind of sad watching them fall victim to their own poison in this way, but also strangely satisfying. This same strategy can be used against the giant land squirts found in northeastern Leonia, and the Scarlet Rot variant as well, found in Kale, which can also be overloaded with Scarlet Rot. Pick your poison, or don't, and just knock them over with a couple of R2s instead. Land squirts are softest where they touch the ground. Another counterintuitive strategy can be used against the Royal Revenants, who actually are extremely difficult and a lot of people are having trouble with. They never give you a chance to heal, which is the hardest part. That said, if you do get a chance to heal your damage, they might just take damage instead. Any AoE heal can be used to absolutely destroy them in this way, and if you use more powerful heals, that's even more true. This same logic applies to their followers as well, who are all cursed, just like them. Thus, your heals will harm rather than mend. Curiously, you can even sort of poison them with healing over time spells, which is a great touch if you want to make them suffer, and I know a lot of you do. I've seen the forum posts. Another contender for the most hated enemy are the Stormveil Warhawks, particularly the ones that peg fire barrels at you. Use gravity magic, however, and you can just devastate them. The same goes for any flying foe. They will all be brought low by spells like Gravity Well or Ashes of War, like Gravitas. Another enemy you can bring low are the Stone Digger Trolls, whose heads bear old wounds. With one well-aimed ranged attack, preferably while they're doing that roar, they'll be left reeling, which gives you ample time to charge some R2s and bring them to their knees. This next note is a little less useful, but interesting. Slay the demi-human mob's leader first, and the rest will lose hope and panic. I mean, you should probably always be killing the little guys first, if you can, so I'm not sure how helpful this one is, but it is cool to see their tribal dependence on a leader from a gameplay point of view. Speaking of things you can't see though, have you fought an invisible Black Knife assassin yet? They're tough. I only beat my first one by relying on spirit summons to point out where they are. Luckily though, there's a better way of beating these guys. The merchant in the Hermit Merchant's Shack sells a Sentry's Torch, which is bestowed with a special incantation that allows the bearer to see assassins cloaked in veils. It was this invisibility that allowed the Black Knives to steal the Rune of Death and slay Godwyn the Golden ages ago. Thus, sentry torches were given to Erdtree sentries, such that a night of black knives would never come again. Another type of revealing light is commonly seen in hero graveyards. This light stems from Rosus' staff, and it can be used to make shadow enemies vulnerable. While you're going through these dungeons as well, remember sometimes these enemies need to be defeated in order for you to progress. Speaking of Rosus, this is a character that you see represented all throughout the Lands Between. He is the Usher of Death, and when his statues are activated, they shine a light that points towards a dungeon. Sometimes what he's pointing to is really obvious, and sometimes the light is pointing you towards dungeons that are very hidden indeed. Specifically though, this light always points towards catacomb-type dungeons. After all, the dead easily lose their way, and have always been in sore need of a guiding hand. I think they're looking for a way back to the roots of the Erd tree, which seem to always appear in these catacomb dungeons. For number 10, there is a hidden cave in the town of Celia. Look beyond the graveyard at the precipice. So, yeah, they're using the term town pretty loosely here. You have to go quite far north to find the illusory wall behind the graveyard. This is the Celia hideaway. It's a glintstone cavern that you'll need to find at one point if you're on Sorceress Selen's questline, and her questline leads you through a locked door that you can find within as well. But if you're not on that questline, you can also pick up a Crystal Torrent spell, which recently got buffed, a Crystal Spear, and the Crystallian Ashes, which are an excellent summon against anything that doesn't use blunt damage. I'd recommend it. Next, for number 11, we're going to start talking about the Merchants. This nomadic tribe, they're absolutely intriguing, and there's so much more to them than you'd expect. You're first introduced to them at the start of the game, of course, with Kale, who can be used to kick off Blythe's questline. After hearing a howling in the Mistwood, speak to Kale and he'll say this.
The howl of a wolf? In the Mistwood? I suppose he must still be skulking about. I know. Why not meet him for yourself?
Perform the emote here, in the forest, and I'll let you see where this questline leads. Kale also sells a note that tells you the location of Sorceress Selen, who you can talk to kick off her questline, which we just mentioned continues in the hidden cave in Celia. So all of these notes are written by the merchants. They probably have a lot of collective intelligence as a nomadic tribe, and they sell this to adventurers. But one of these notes tells you not to go somewhere, and it's a note about the Frenzied Flame village, which is inhabited by the sick and located south of the Grand Lift of Dectus. A lot of folks would have missed this location, since it sort of requires you to double back from the Grand Lift, get past the tower, inflicting you with madness, hide from it, just like you hid from the brain of Mensis when it afflicted you with frenzy in Bloodborne. Atop this Tower of Frenzy is the Howl of Shabriri spell, and at the precipice of the cliff beyond it is the Frenzied Flame village. Here you can get the Shabriri's Woe Talisman, the Frenzied Cookbook, and you can also have an encounter with Vike, who drops a Frenzy Spear, and also a grape for Hyetta, who is an NPC whose questline goes down the path that I'm about to describe. Perhaps the most curious thing in this village, though, is a corpse of someone who has died of frenzy in the corner hidden in some bushes. There's a note on his body that hides a clue that will lead you further down the path of frenzy. Like the others, this note is, of course, written by a merchant, and this one tells us who their lord is. Beneath Lanedale, at the very bottom, lies our lord, Lord of the Frenzied, the Three Fingers, who holds us in thrall. Note that when you fight a merchant, a lot of them fight with frenzy. This note prompted me to explore further, beyond the sewers. It led me to a new boss fight, and then when I knew that this couldn't possibly be the end of the path, it prompted me to go even further, to activate the passageway behind the boss fight and find the odd 1,000 corpses of frenzied folk that remain here. They look a lot like merchants. They probably are merchants. They have the exact same little hand-scratcher violin bow that a lot of them wield. I'll let you venture further down here and discover this place for yourself. At the bottom, you'll find a very curious door, one that most characters won't be able to open straight away. So this is the 14th secret, which I will provide, and I'm going to make it a riddle for you. So here it is. Only the wretched will be able to get past this door. And if you do get past this door, you will unlock a new ending. Although, fair warning, you should probably talk to Melina at the Grace after you come down here to figure out if this is an ending you'd actually want, and also while you're down here, turn to the right after you drop down and go through the illusory wall for a rune arc and the entrance to the Deep Root Depths, which is an area that just has the most hidden entrances to it, but this is actually a pretty convenient one while you're down here. Further back though, we find another note, and it has the final clue to all of this, in case you regret getting past this door and the path that it puts you down. So to get this note, you have to trick a frenzied enemy into destroying one of these makeshift huts, and the note within it reads, "The Empyrean Miquella crafted a needle to resist the influence of the outer gods. Those who have inherited the flame of frenzy, yet wish not to become its lord, would do well to seek Miquella's needle. In order to get Miquella's needle, you'll need to follow Millicent's questline all the way to the end. It starts with Gowrie, here in Kale, and it ends all the way at the Halig Tree with Millennia. Once you have this needle, you can embed it in your flesh, but you can only do so here at Farum Azula. And here, the Flame of Frenzy will no longer have any power over you, and it will no longer influence your ending." I really want to talk more about this, but it would end up being like a 30-minute lore video, so subscribe for that if you're interested. I love that this secrets video ended here though. It's just a small taste of the story that's to come, as Elden Ring's lore is just maddeningly addictive. Before I go though, please consider listening to Audible, who graciously sponsored this video. Now, it's no secret that if you love the world building of Elden Ring, then you'll probably love the world of The Witcher as well. My favorite way to dive into this world isn't actually through the games, though, it's through the audiobook. This is The Last Wish, a collection of short stories that went on to inspire the Witcher games. Have a listen.
The stranger was not old, but his hair was almost entirely white. Beneath his coat, he wore a worn leather jerkin laced up at the neck and shoulders. As he took off his coat, those around him noticed that he carried a sword. Not something unusual in itself. Nearly every man in Vachin carried a weapon. But no one carried a sword strapped to his back as if it were a bow or a quiver.
You can listen to this full audiobook or any other completely free during your trial period. So head over to audible.com/VaatiVidya or text VaatiVidya to 500 500 and consider signing up. This audiobook is read by Peter Kenny, and he does an excellent job with character accents and inflections, which I think is really important in an audiobook. Another reason I think people will love this listen is that it's a collection of short stories, which is just a perfect format for audiobooks because you can finish an entire story while you listen on the bus or while you're doing some housework, things like that. So again, head over to audible.com/VaatiVidya or text VaatiVidya to 500 500 to start your free trial. Thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching.